about the one and only Bill Nye, the Science Guy, as part of the seminal Golden Tribe lecture series last year highlighted by Neil deGrasse Tyson. His friend Bill Nye is here to kick us off with this lecture series of basically important people, celebrities, people that come out, talk to us, have a conversation with us about something scientific or whatever field they're in.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I remember watching him when I was a kid, actually. And the door is open at 6 p.m. and it's going to be taking place at the Ruby Diamond Concert Hall.
Absolutely. That is by the Westcott building. Of course, there is high demand. They tried to move it to the Civic Center, but there are some renovations going on over there. So there is going to be other live streaming spots on campus. So if you're a student, you're getting out, you're trying to get there, tickets might already be gone because they started handing them out at 5 o'clock. The doors opened at 6. But head out there. You might be able to get a ticket at one of the live stream locations.
Yeah, because the show doesn't actually start till 7, so you still have an hour to try to grab one of those tickets.
Absolutely, and he's a lot more than just the science guy that we all know and love as kids. Right now, he is also the current executive director of the Planetary Society, which is the world's largest space interest group. But let's bring it back to weather. We are FSU Weather. Let's see what's going on today. Shane?
Thanks, guys. Well, as to what's going on today, it's a smidge warmer in Tallahassee right now than it was at this time yesterday, but it's actually going to get colder soon. Notice that it's 5 degrees cooler right now in Dothan than it was 24 hours ago. That's the result of a cold front moving through the region, which we can spot on this national map. And there's a lot going on. Casey will have more details later in the show. But further southeast, we can see that cold front as a band of clouds inching its way closer to Tallahassee and beginning to drop some rain on us, which we see in the local satellite and radar. We'll give it a moment to sync up. Those clouds are obscuring the sky over Tallahassee, and we've got several showers moving across the region, possibly drenching the folks waiting in line for Bill Nye. So as for a few headlines for tonight, we've got thunderstorms overnight. The temperatures will drop in the wake of that cool front, which will give us a break from the heat. For further details, stay tuned. I'll be back in just a minute with your local forecast.
All right, thank you, Shane. And we will actually shift to the West Coast. We got a decent amount of rain today and some cloud cover, but we're going to talk about Tropical Storm Odile.
Yeah, that's actually going to be affecting the Southwest, and they're going to be seeing a lot of rain, which could even bring the potential for some flash floods.
Absolutely. We're talking about into Phoenix, Arizona, Tucson, Arizona, really the Arizona area, Death Valley, all that desert area is going to get tons of moisture and rain, the likes of which haven't been seen since the 1980s.
Yeah, actually, this is the first time since the 1980s that there's going to be a heavy amount of rainfall. And when I say a heavy amount of rainfall, I mean 5 or more inches in a period of 24 hours. And this is just from a Pacific hurricane.
And we're talking about just to bring you up to speed, it made landfall out in Cabo San Lucas, did some significant damage there out in the Baja Peninsula, making its way into that little canal between the contiguous United States and the Baja Peninsula, and is going to make its way into Arizona and bring that significant rain. Let's bring it back to Tallahassee real quick now. Shane, what do we got going on locally? Is the rain going to go away?
Well, the rain will go away eventually, but not immediately. Right now, current conditions is indicating thunder in the region, with a current temperature of 81 degrees and a rather high humidity, 79%. So it's quite sticky out there if you're not already getting soaked by rain. So taking a glimpse around the whole Sunshine State, which along the Panhandle is not living up to its name right now. We've got an immense amount of rain moving off the coast right now, and another band coming in with that cold front that's bringing us lots of showers this Tuesday evening here at FSU. Now for our water vapor map, the key to this is the green patch, this one that stretches across the Panhandle, Florida from Pensacola through Tallahassee all the way to Jacksonville. That indicates all that moisture associated with the cold front that is giving us such a dreary day around the southeast. But it's a dreary day today, but is that going to be the case for the next few days? Well, let's set this map in motion and give it a bit of more of a picture. That front that's been stationary is going to transition into a cold front, and it's going to hover to the north of the Big Bend region, giving us a day of intermittent clouds and sun tomorrow. And then that front is going to continue to scoot its way closer to the Big Bend region, giving us a night that isn't exactly freezing, but is rather chilly for the last days of summer here in the state of Florida. And as for Thursday, looks to be a beautiful sunny day. Let's get down to some details about exactly what it's going to do overnight tonight. Well, rather throughout the day tomorrow, excuse me. We're going to wake up to 73 degrees and patchy fog actually as a result of those cooler temperatures as we head off to our 8 a.m. classes, if you do in fact have those. Temperature's going to climb a whole 10 degrees to 83 by lunchtime tomorrow, where it's going to be cooler and sunny, and we're going to get to 89 degrees by rush hour. But as for tonight, we're going to get all the way down to a low of 70 degrees. Not quite hitting those 60s yet. Those will come once the cold front gets into the region. The clouds overnight are going to keep it a little bit warmer. So how about the percent for precipitation? We're calling it 50%, and that's a kind of half and half. It may be raining on you, it might not be, but best to be prepared. We do have the potential for some locally heavy rain in which you do not want to get caught without an umbrella. So tomorrow it's going to climb up to a high of 91 degrees, and we're only giving a 10% chance of rain. In my book, that's a pretty nice day outside, a great one to get out and enjoy after a bit of a downer that we've had today with a lot of showers moving across campus. Don't forget, we may have a chance of patchy fog before 10 a.m., so do use your lights if you're driving around. Now, for the 7 days ahead, well, there are those 60s for lows as promised, with highs only in the mid-80s by this weekend for the Clemson game. Let's hand it off to Casey for a look around the greater southeast area.
Thanks so much, Shane. And as we do so, we'll see that there is quite a bit of precipitation. First, we'll start off with a radar of our area, because this is one of the bigger stories in the southeast. The rainfall that's occurring in part of the Big Bend region. We do see areas around Leon County starting to get into some light to moderate rain. Gaston County as well, getting up into southwest Georgia. We're talking about areas around Bainbridge and toward Decatur County. This rain trying to gradually work its way down toward our area, though it will weaken just a little bit. Broadening out the picture toward the southeast, we do see this heavy rain really extends all the way from around Houston out toward Waco, Texas as well. And we see that rain extending all the way through the Gulf of Mexico, go down to the west coast of Florida. Some significant rainfall, even some flash flood warnings in the Panhandle right now. Just west of Tallahassee, there are flash flood warnings in effect. Areas around, in fact, Bonifay, getting into some very heavy rainfall under a warning at this hour. Now, rainfall since midnight, we do see areas of the Panhandle doesn't really show up here because there's not many measurement stations around areas like Bonifay in the central Panhandle. But there is a measurement station in Perry. We see a little bit of yellow. If you look closely, they've seen over 2 inches of rain today, significant rainfall there. Jacksonville, 0.64 inches of rain, and Pensacola, 0.74 inches of rain. Some heavy rainfall in some of these areas. Now, temperature-wise, 79 degrees here in the metro area. Rain-cooled air, and that's because of the dew point. That's the measure of the moisture at the lower levels of the atmosphere. 74 degrees, a high amount of moisture leading to some heavy rainfall across our area. But the good news is that should start to clear out. We see our future cast. We see that the rain, according to this model, will be moving out in the next couple hours. So that's some good news, and we'll just go right on by that, in fact. We seeing nicer conditions, sunnier conditions. So make sure you enjoy those around our area as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. A little bit cooler as well, even 69 tonight, a hint of that cool air. There's a little bit cooler up into Montgomery, 66 degrees, and 64 in the Ward area like Tupelo. Tomorrow, 91 here in the capital region. Cooler air to our north because of the cool front that's stationed around our area, 84 degrees out toward areas like Atlanta. So we'll keep an eye on this, but right now we'll go ahead and take it over to Melanie and Braden.
Man, Casey, high 60s for those lows. I really am feeling that little taste of fall, but up in the northeast, they are already getting pretty cold.
Yeah, they're going to be getting much colder than we are. They're actually going to be in the 30s, and if you're in a rural area, you're actually going to be reaching in the 20s.
Absolutely. Latest information right here from the National Weather Service. And, we're looking at lows in the 30s, like you were talking about, in the 20s. Dense fog may also be forming. We're talking about, the Northeast, but we're talking about, California, Golden Gate Bridge kind of fog. It gets all dense. You can't really see anything out there.
Yeah, that's going to make traveling really difficult. So this is going to be Thursday into Friday. So be careful when you're driving on those roads.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that even though we are getting into fall, you are enjoying those last couple days of summer. Get out to the beach. Get out to the pool. Other than the Northeast and down here, Casey, what do we got going on around the rest of the nation?
Well, we do see that there's a significant weather situation out toward Arizona and out toward California as well, and we'll get to that in a minute. That's in terms of Tropical Storm Odile. We're watching that very closely into those areas. A lot of flooding rain expected. But temperature-wise in the desert southwest, 82 degrees in Phoenix, 77 out towards San Francisco. And as we kind of transition just a little bit, we will see that these temperatures out toward areas like Dallas, 90 degrees, a little bit warmer, and in the southeast, rain-cooled air, 76 in toward areas like New Orleans. So we'll watch that very closely here across the region. Heat index values pretty high, 94 degrees in Dallas in terms of what it feels like to your skin. 96 in San Antonio, very warm, but rain-cooled air again having an impact on this because of the cloud cover holding temperatures and feel like values down because of lack of sunshine around. Only 80 degrees is what it feels like in New Orleans. Satellite and radar does show this rain across the region. We do see around New Orleans some heavy rainfall occurring, extending out toward the Panhandle as I talked about just a moment ago. But I want to focus our attention here on Tropical Storm Odile. You see this little swirl here on the satellite and radar, and this is making its way, this tropical cyclone is, out toward areas in Mexico and moving up toward at least a remnant of it and towards southwestern Arizona. We need to watch very closely for putting rains, and I'll get a little closer look at that in just a moment. But water vapor imagery, which shows the moisture content in the upper levels of the atmosphere in the green color, is very evident. We see there's some heavy moisture associated with this system, and that's going to cause a lot of flooding rains. Now back at home and toward the southeast in our region, we do see a little bit of green here on the map. That's a little bit of rain and moisture in the upper levels, but that's started to clear out, and we should start to see nicer conditions as some dry air works its way in. We see a lack of moisture, a lack of these dark green colors trying to make their way into water area. Zooming in a little closer on Tropical Storm Odile, we do see this area moving toward southwestern Arizona. We're expecting significant rainfall right into those areas. In fact, there's even a flash flood watch in effect for a lot of areas in toward the southwest. We're talking about Las Vegas. We're talking about areas around Phoenix as well, in this lighter green color, even down toward Tucson. Very serious rainfall rates are expected. So make sure if you have friends or family in those areas to let them know and give them a heads up that there could be some very dangerous flooding conditions, as we could see significant rainfall rates. We do see Phoenix, they could get up toward 3 inches of rain or so. We'll just go right on by that. And we see tonight 69 degrees, nice conditions here in our area. And tomorrow 91 degrees, warmer temperatures to the north and west. We'll keep an eye on the national look at things, though, across our nation. Right now, though, we'll go ahead and take it over to Braden with your local forecast.
Thank you, Casey. And we are going to take another look at that local forecast. Later in the tropical segment, we are going to talk a little more about Tropical Storm Odile, so stay tuned for that. But right now, water vapor imagery showing a pretty good picture of what is going on in our area. It is wet, it is moist, it is humid. You are going to see that rain over the next couple of hours, and you are going to see it maybe even into tomorrow before that cold front starts to work its way through. Radar really showing us what's going on as it comes together. A lot of clouds in our area that we didn't see much sun today, maybe a few isolated pockets. You got a little lucky, but mostly cloud cover, very heavy cloud cover as a matter of fact, as well as some pretty decent clips of rain. Rain still making its way in from the north, making its way south, so we are going to see a couple more showers over the next couple hours as we make our way into the evening. Of course, winds really coming mostly out of the west, except Valdosta. You can see the wind is starting to shift behind that cold front already, maybe making its way a little further south. Winds coming from the northeast there, but winds predominantly from the west everywhere else. 3 to 5 miles an hour, so not the biggest shift in wind, nothing too crazy, but we might get a few breezes in those showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures mid to upper 70s, 80 down in St. Mark's. It's looking like your warm spot. Actually, nope, 82 down there right in Apalachicola, 78 in Carabel, 79 in Tallahassee. Monticello, good evening, sitting at 74 degrees. Futurecast really showing the story of that stationary front right to our north, up in northern Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina. That is really going to become a backdoor cold front for us over the next couple hours as it makes its way down. A mix of sun and clouds tomorrow morning. Going into tomorrow evening, that cold front is going to continue to make its way south. And relatively chilly night compared to the last couple of nights we've been having. Sitting at about 68, maybe 69 degrees. Might even get down to 67 if you get lucky. As we continue to put this into motion, sunny skies on Thursday behind that cold front, and we are going to be seeing some pretty nice weather. On the water tomorrow, looking at northwest winds at about 10 knots, seas 1 to 2 feet. Protected water smooth. Of course, sunrise 7:23 a.m., sunset out at 7:40. If you're going out to the beach, maybe a decent beach day. Northwest winds at 10 knots. Again, UV index 11, so really high UV index, making sure using that sunscreen, all those fun things. Tonight, let's look at upper 60s to lower 70s, 69 down in Tallahassee is where we're calling it, 71 out in Monticello. Carabel, you're the warm spot, 74 degrees. Along the coast, generally a little warmer at night. 90s for tomorrow, though. Perry, you might not quite reach that 90 mark. You might make it to 89, but lower 90s across the board. Otherwise, in the week ahead, as we put it into view, your rain chances are on the decrease after today, but making their way back up Friday into Saturday. We'll take it back to Shane and Casey, as I think are going to be talking about a historic hurricane from this year.
Thanks, Braden. Yes, we're going to talk about a historic hurricane from 10 years ago for this day in weather history. That was Hurricane Ivan.
That's right. Hurricane Ivan was a very serious storm. It was a long-lived, what is classified as a Cape Verde type storm, and it caused significant damage in the Caribbean and across the United States.
Yes, it was the fourth major hurricane of the 2004 hurricane season, with peak winds of 165 miles an hour and a minimum pressure of 910 millibars. That's a monster of a storm.
Yeah, it impacted areas around Gulf Shores, Alabama, and made landfall there early on September 16th that morning. Very significant conditions in those areas, and it had wide-ranging effects.
Yes, and to this day, 10 years later, Ivan ranks as the 10th most intense Atlantic hurricane on record. But for another view of the weather, we're going to throw it out to John for a look around Florida.
Ivan was known for being a rainmaker, and fortunately this year we haven't had a whole lot of storms in the Gulf, but today we have a lot of moisture to work with from Jacksonville all the way over on I-10 and south of I-10, all the way back, practically all the way to California because of that hurricane out west. And this is working down to the surface here in the Panhandle in the form of rain, and there's a lot of rain moving through the Gulf as well. Most of this is associated with that stationary front that was around the area over the last couple of days. A secondary front is starting to work into the area, and you saw that with that wind switch in Valdosta. That's going to start to push down towards the south as well. It's going to take another day or so to work its way all the way through. But the rain is going to work its way out of the area. For now, we're going to just deal with some light to moderate rain from Quincy over to Midway and down into the Apalachicola National Forest. This is all going to sag down towards the south over the next couple of hours, and then we're going to see a drop-off in rain chances as well as the moisture and humidity as we head into the overnight hours and then back to clear skies. But first, we have to deal with this rain. Some more rain than they really need in Bonifay over towards Hickory Hill. This is a flash flood warning for that area until 7 o'clock Central Time there. That's only going to be a short period, but there could be some flash flooding there in some of those stronger storms out towards our west. Here's what our model is forecasting for the next couple of days. We're going to see that rain push down towards the south as that front comes through, really pushing out into the Gulf. We're going to return to the sunny skies for Wednesday, Thursday, and probably on Friday as well. We're going to have to check the forecast again, but again, as those slow-moving storms move through, some places could pick up 1 to 3 inches of rain. So remember to turn around if some of those streets are covered so you don't drown as you drive through. Some of those cars can be lifted and pushed away within just even a foot of water in some of those streets with some of that fast-moving water. As I said, that stationary front is going to push down towards the south, and it's really going to bring in some drier air into tonight and some cooler air. We're going to start to see some upper 60s in our Georgia counties tonight as that front slowly slides through. And then tomorrow, we're going to push all the way into we're still going to push into the 90s, but tomorrow night is when we're going to really start to see most of those changes. We're going to see 60s all the way down almost to the Gulf Coast. I think we're going to see those 60s, but for the rest of Florida, we're going to see 80s to near 90 degrees tomorrow afternoon and into the evening hours. And then they're going to still be stuck in the 70s and maybe even the low 80s down in Key West and across the Everglades. But really, we're going to slow down all the way down into probably 68 to 70 degrees From the Big Bend north up into Georgia, some places in Georgia are going to see temperatures starting to feel a little bit like fall, and we've got more of that with Braden going around the area.
All right, we are actually going to go into our tropical update. They were talking about Ivan back at this 10 years ago. Pretty significant storm bringing a lot of rainfall. Right now, we're going to be talking about a storm making its way into the southwest areas, bringing a lot of rainfall. Now, let's take a look at our storm names. Getting there. Edouard is the one we are looking at now, far into the Atlantic. Made Category 3 status this morning. Isn't there anymore, but is the first major hurricane of the season. And one of the first major hurricanes in quite a while, because I do not believe we had a major hurricane last season. Again, we are in the peak of hurricane season in September. Remember, they were talking about the Cape Verde storms bringing off the coast of Africa all the way up and possibly maybe even into Florida. Most of them curve off the coast, but we still want to be cautious over the next couple of days as we finish up September. We're just entering the second half, so we're not done yet. A lot of moisture in the Gulf of Mexico. Nothing tropical, nothing that we are worried about right now forming into a disturbance, but bringing our rain. But as we head out into the deep Atlantic, here is Hurricane Edouard right now, a Category 2 hurricane that I pretty well define. Starting to deteriorate just a little bit, but it is still a very nice looking storm as we zoom out. Check its track right now. Winds at 105 miles an hour, making it a Category 2 hurricane. As we put this into motion, it is going to move away from the United States. No threat to land for us. Will become extratropical over the next couple days as it makes a little loop-de-loop around. Now, here is what we are looking at more in depth. This is Tropical Storm Odile. Right now, Cabo San Lucas got pretty banged up, got a decent amount of rain from it, but it's not over yet. It made its way into this little area of warm water, got a little bit of strength back, but it is going to make landfall right along this area and make its way into Arizona. And that is what we are looking at very closely. Arizona is a desert area, does not get much rain, and we are talking about some pretty significant rainfall from Odile. Like I said, right now, just a weak tropical storm, a moderate tropical storm actually, with winds sitting at about 50 miles per hour. But as we put this into motion, you can see gets back out into water before making another landfall. Once it makes a landfall, it will become a tropical depression very quickly, but that does not eliminate the risk of the rain. So right now, here's a futurecast rainfall. This is our in-house model, shows us where the rain's going to be and when over the next 48 hours. As we put this into motion, you're going to see this big swath of rain start to make its way north Wednesday night into Thursday. Phoenix, Tucson, into Flagstaff getting significant amounts of rain that they don't usually see in a normal cycle. Now, there's the monsoon season down here, but that's basically over with, so you're not expecting that moisture right now. But I just want you to look at these values. 3.23 inches in Phoenix, Arizona. When is the last time, ladies and gentlemen, that you've heard of rain in Arizona at all? Tucson and Flagstaff, also rain making its way into Albuquerque, and also Truth and Consequences in New Mexico. So we want to make sure we're careful out there. Shane, Casey, let's talk more about it.
Thanks so much, Braden, and we'll go ahead and transition into your weather history here on this Tuesday evening.
That's right. You mentioned Hurricane Edouard out in the Atlantic. Well, an interesting fact, 30 years ago today, the U.S. was dealing with a different tropical storm, Edward, which brought torrential rain to parts of Texas.
That's right. In fact, areas around the Rio Grande Valley of Texas and Port Isabel experienced extreme rainfall totals. 21 inches reported in Port Isabel. Significant rain and significant flooding in that area of South Texas.
Yes, that's dramatic rainfall to get at all over a long period of time, much less from a single storm. Throwing it back nearly 100 years, though, Hurricane San Felipe left 600 dead in Guadalupe, 300 dead in Puerto Rico, and it flooded Lake Okeechobee.
That's right. That area experienced very significant conditions. In fact, 600 people died in Guadalupe in that area. But right now, we'll go ahead and take it over to your third local forecast of Melanie.
Thank you, Casey. Yeah, thankfully we're not seeing any of those tropical storm-like conditions, but we are seeing a lot of rain. You can see on our satellite and radar, the cold front is just bringing in a lot of rain, and this is just going to stay for tonight, but then tomorrow it is going to clear out, and that is the story for the majority of the state. All around, this is a remnant of that stationary front that John had mentioned earlier. We can see that that mid-Florida and South Florida is just getting pummeled by rain, but that is going to clear off into the Atlantic, and then they're going to be clear. Our current temperatures, though, we're sitting at 79 in Tallahassee, 79 in Carabel, 82 in Apalachicola. So basically, same story around the board. We are sitting in the high 70s, mid 80s, and those temperatures are actually going to drop slightly coming into the week. Our futurecast, though, we have our stationary front to the north, and we're going to be getting some rain tonight. It's going to be a 50% chance of rain, and then that stationary front is going to change into a cold front, and we're going to be experiencing sunny conditions and cooler temperatures. And as we carry on into Thursday, and as we carry on into Wednesday night, it's going to be a chilly night, slightly chillier than usual. We're going to be sitting, maybe reaching the 60s at 69. And then as we move into Thursday, the cold front is going to move slightly to our south, and we are going to be seeing sunnier conditions. The air is going to be drier, and it's going to be this very great weather, which is going to be good if you want to go to the beach. We're sitting at northwest winds, 10 knots. Surf is 1 to 2 feet. The UV index is going to be 11, so that is extremely high. So if you are going to be outside, make sure you have those sunscreen, those hats. Make sure you are prepared for that Florida sun. And basically the same story on the water. We're going to have protected water smooth. So again, it's going to be a nice beach day. There's a slight chance for a pop-up shower, but that's not going to be a very huge deal. Tonight, though, we're going to be reaching 69 in Tallahassee, 69 in Bainbridge, 74 in Carabel. So we're going to start to be seeing some of those 60-degree temperatures and low 70s. And there is a potential for heavy rain tonight. There is a 50% chance of rain. So if you're getting out of that Bill Nye show, make sure you are prepared and you have your umbrellas with you. And looking into tomorrow, we're going to be having a mostly sunny day. There's a 10% chance of rain, so not very likely that is going to rain. We're going to be reaching a high of 91 in Tallahassee, 92 in Carabel, 90 in Quincy. So we're going to start reaching the low 90s, and that's going to start to change as we make it into our 7-day. We're going to be seeing the 90s into Wednesday and Thursday, but then we are going to drop into the 80s. There's a slight rain chance through the weekend, but I wouldn't count on that canceling your plans at all. And we're going to start finally reaching into the 60s. Starting tonight, we are going to be reaching into those 60-degree temperatures, and as we go into the weekend, the temperatures will be dropping into the high 80s. So it is quite a break from those 90-degree temperatures that we have been seeing. But now let's take it back to Shane and Casey for the final desk.
Thanks, Melanie. Well, for everyone who's out there at the Bill Nye talk right now, enjoy. And when you get done, temperatures will have fallen into the mid to upper 70s thanks to a lot of rainfall, for which I hope everyone has umbrellas.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want, hopefully nobody gets too wet. There is some lingering rainfall that's trying to work its way in toward the metro area, so we're keeping an eye on that for you here in the FSU Weather Center.
Yes, but where umbrellas should not be needed is for the FSU Clemson game this Saturday, for which we're all very excited.
That's right. Rainfall chances are very low, only 20% for that game. It's against number 22 AP ranked Clemson. We're number 1, of course, in the AP poll. It's a nationally televised night game. Should be nice conditions.
Yeah, and there are the conditions right there. Temps should be in the mid to upper 80s for tailgating in the afternoon and early evening, cooling to upper 70s by kickoff.
Yeah, very good conditions for that. In that 7-day forecast, we do see those rain chances going up just a little bit, but temperatures cooling off. Those rain chances relatively low overall, though. Make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and watch us at any time on livestream.com/FSU Weather.
Yes, as always, thank you very much for tuning in with us this Tuesday night here at FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Shane Pendleton signing off here.
And I'm student meteorologist Casey Cloud. Have a good evening, everybody, and enjoy the weather conditions.
As always, go Noles.